Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
The number of affected countries has tripled.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
I've been lost, I've been wandering this life without the light.
Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
The number of affected countries has tripled.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
So I've come to the I've been lost, I've been wandering this life without the light.
Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
The number of affected countries has tripled.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
The number of affected countries has tripled.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
And so I pray, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Messiah Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vyasa Krishna
Going into some Zoom.
Even though it doesn't feel like it. Everything? Oh, okay.
Even the jokes. Go ahead.
I think I should keep the jokes out now, the second run.
No, the jokes are good.
Okay.
Then you get some laughter.
Okay. So they didn't hear anything. Am I right? From 0. Okay. Well, it's my honor to welcome all of you for our 2021 Vyasa Puja celebration. And it's virtual this year. Now you can see me. So my name is Sundari Radhadasi. And by the kind mercy of Guru Maharaj and Nitya Priya, I have the honor to be your MC today. And I hope I'll be able to serve you well. So I began wanting to acknowledge how difficult and challenging 2020 has been and how much it's taken away from us. It's taken everything that we've known as normal and given us a whole new way of life, like a whole new set of standards to live by. And for some of us, it's taken those who were near and dear to us, but now it even feels like it's taken away our Vyasa Puja celebration, which is very dear to all of our hearts. And I was sharing that I still can fondly feel that the feeling of being in the temple room with all the devotees together, crowded, with just one purpose in mind, to share our love and gratitude with Guru Maharaj, who's changed all of our lives, given us Srila Prabhupada and given us Krishna. And that feeling is so surreal. And it's definitely something that we feel 2020 has taken from us at this point. And so it feels like it's a very challenging time. But as we've learned from Guru Maharaj time and time again, that we can use gratitude to try and see Krishna's hand in all of these situations. And so what I did was I wrote down a list of ways that we can feel gratitude. And you're sure they didn't hear it, right? Okay. So
Don't make her say it a third time.
yeah. So the first one I thought of was every year we wait to be able to see Guru Maharaj's feet being washed. And we all know we have about 0.59 seconds to see it being washed. And if you blink or sneeze, you'll miss it. But now you have it on video. You can, well, you actually don't, but you can still see Maharaj like very well, very clear. You don't have to worry about anything blocking your vision. The second thing I thought of was that you don't have to be uncomfortable. You're in the comfort of your home. So you don't have those white temple mats that you need to fold in 150 different ways so that you can feel comfortable to get that exact angle where your back is above your knees. And you don't have to worry about that. You have your home. And hopefully that can help you become a little bit more comfortable and more attentive. And then the last thing I thought of was that you don't have a prasadam line. You can just go straight from your room to your kitchen and you have your whole feast there. But don't forget, it's Ekadasi and a lot of potato chips don't count as Ekadasi. Make sure to check the ingredients. And then the last one, the real, all jokes aside, the real thing to be grateful for is that we are all actually together, even though it doesn't feel like it, even though we're miles and miles apart, we're all together and we all feel this love and this purpose to serve and to share our gratitude to Guru Maharaj, who's given us a purpose, a reason to live for. And so with that, I wanted to now pass it on to Guru Maharaj so he can share with us some words of wisdom and he can help us follow in his footsteps. Hare Krishna.
Dear devotees, did you like her third earring? Very special pandemic earring. But because we're in close quarters, she's going to put it back on. So can we go to the PowerPoint? Yeah. Pretty fancy backdrop too, right? Whose arrangement is this one? Krishnarchana, of course. I thought to make the focus for this discussion the word alignment, which most likely you've heard me use a lot lately. And so it probably would be nice to help you understand when I use the word alignment, what does it mean? So that's the topic. The word alignment, or the use of it, became particularly inspired by Satchidananda Swami. And this is a diagram from his, I guess, japa retreats or japa book, where he shows there's 3 gates, if you look carefully. The first gate, and then behind that is the second gate, and the third gate is behind that one. And then inside is the temple room or the treasury of the king, and the thing that the gates are all meant to give protection to or access to. And in his language, there's a tilt to the left. Can the somehow that nice temple looks like it's going to fall over or something. Little more. Keystone. Oh, okay. Now it's not going to fall over. Okay. It's in his words, I've learned this from him, alignment comes from the root word yuj. A literal translation of yuj is alignment, or of course we say connection or link, but alignment of the 3, body, mind, and heart. In the alignment of the 3 makes bhakti possible or successful. Alignment of body, mind, and heart. So when I use this term, that's what it's meant. And of course, alignment towards what? Body, mind, and heart towards Krishna. He is the goal. So in our bhakti life, we want to pay attention to all 3 areas. And we want to see that those 3 areas are in alignment with reaching Krishna. And there's a continuous alignment and realignment effort needed as we're chanting and as we're living our lives in bhakti. Something else that I'm sure those of you that have heard my lectures, here's the graphic that depicts it, the iceberg of culture. Now, the image and even the concept of iceberg of culture comes from cultural engineering that I learned from our strategic planning team co-director, Kaunteya. Credit goes to him. Look at this, it's upside down and backwards. Can we put it back the way it was? Okay, now we're right side up again. Okay. The iceberg of culture has direct connection with our bhakti life, because the culture of an organization, a culture of our communities, a culture of ourselves, our families, or our own personal life has these 3 cultural parts. There's the tip of the iceberg up there. That's behaviors. Somehow it's running off the right side of the screen. But anything that comes in touch with your senses, something you can see, measure, perceive with your senses. That's something, the body and words. That's the tip of the iceberg of culture. And there we go. And then there's the part of the iceberg that you can't see, or culture that you can't see, and that is our values. Or in an organization, its official beliefs, your mission statement, or what you as a person say is important to you. It's important to know what's important to you, because otherwise your behaviors can just be very erratic and chaotic and moved by time, place, circumstance without any value system guiding and directing all those things. And values influence behaviors, and behaviors influence values. There's an interaction between the two. And then at the very bottom of that iceberg is what I'll call the heart, or deeply held beliefs that just don't change no matter what. And our heart needs to be aligned with our values, and our values need to be aligned with our behaviors. And often there's misalignment. And so a bhakti life is continuously, not only, take some time out and check, but continuous recalibration, reorientation, realignment. Even, let's say, as you're chanting. Where's your heart while you're chanting? What's the purpose of what you're doing while you're chanting? Are you hearing? Because that helps to fix the subtle faculty of the mind and align your values with your mouth, with your ear, and with your mouth, that which part of you which makes sounds. So this is a picture, and it's not just when chanting, it's the whole of your devotional service. It starts with chanting. We know that. You start with hearing and chanting. And here's one of my favorite verses. It's running off the screen on the right, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We'll just be happy at showing it all. This is a lovely verse, much loved verse by Rupa Goswami from Vidagdha Madhava that you'll find in Chaitanya Charitamrita twice, because when Ramananda Roy requested Rupa Goswami to cite this verse, when he recited, he was just astonished, saying something to the effect that this is not just glorification of the holy name, this is a shower of nectar. So here's the translation. It has these 4 parts. For me, it's alignment. It's the mouth, it's the ears, and it's the heart. Because with the ears, according to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and according to practical experience, and Satchidananda Swami uses the same, the hearing process fixes the mind. Or say it conversely. Without hearing, the mind is going to wander. Say it positively. When you're hearing, the mind becomes still. So this is an alignment verse. I really like it. When I chant and when I'm engaging in devotional service, there's the mouth part of the body. There's the mind part of our covering, and there's the heart. So the verse reads, I do not know how much nectar the 2 syllables Krishna have produced. So that's the Mahima, the glorification of the name. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. That's when we're tasting the nectar of the holy name. And then from the mouth or the tongue goes to the ear. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. That's when you're really hearing. It's not just numerical, but you're really hearing because you're trying to hear the sound. And Krishna sees you. Krishna understands you're trying to hear the sound. And the channel of hearing becomes more acute because within that sound is so much nectar. as Rupa Goswami is confirming. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. So when you're in alignment, that's your experience. The mouth, the ears, the mind, and the heart. And the mind then becomes conquered. You know, the restless mind, it can be conquered by alignment. And there it's, as mentioned, continuous realignment, not only while you're chanting, and if you do nicely while you're chanting, you'll find it much easier when you're not chanting and doing your other services, but through this alignment process, the goal of reaching Krishna, if you remember from that initial slide, the three gates, and then Krishna's, the deity in the temple, or the treasury of the king, or the Lord of your heart, becomes reached by that alignment process. And chanting and the whole of the bhakti process is a series of alignment. Now, supposing you're not at the goal yet, probably most of us are in that category, we fall into the category of bhakti that's abhas rupa bhakti, in the language of Jiva Goswami. And I want to read a little passage that's, as you see here, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 15. First, the context. Canto 6 begins just after the end of Canto 5. Interesting, huh? And Canto 5 at the end is just the hellish planets are being described, because that was a question asked by Maharaj Parikshit. And after hearing the hellish planets being described, Maharaj Parikshit, the king, wants to know what can be done to help people not have to experience those hellish planets, because they're really hellish. And so three options are given. The first is by counteracting sins, by atonement process, one does not have to experience the reactions of sins. Well, reactions of sins, but what about the tendency to do more sin? What about that? Because then more sin, more reactions, more atonement. So the answer, the answer given by Maharaj Parikshit, by Shukadeva Goswami, is knowledge may prevent one from doing things that are detrimental and thus getting a reaction. But knowledge alone is not enough. We have experience. We know things. It's not enough to know things. You have to take another stance. So the other stance is bhakti. That's where this response comes, this verse by Shukadeva Goswami. I'm going to read the verse, and just one paragraph where it uses this term abhas rupa bhakti. The verse reads, only a rare person, this is Keshit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana. You know the verse. Agham Dudvanti Karchneya Niharam Iva Bhaskaram. Celebrated verse, very important verse in the whole of the Bhagavatam, glorifying Shuddha Bhakti. But before you get to Shuddha Bhakti, we have encounter with this abhas rupa bhakti. The translation of the verse, only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. So not only mow the lawn, but pull the weeds from the root the very root of sinful activity. He, this very special, rare person, can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Niharam eva bhaskaram, dissipate fog by its rays. The sun, when there's fog in the morning, the sun dissipates the fog by the power of the rays of the sun. Very quickly, at once. Those of you that have experienced fog, you know what I'm speaking about. Poof. At once. Now, in the very lengthy and important purport, Prabhupada is describing the bhakti process more fully. The verse is mentioning complete, unalloyed devotional service. But before that, there's this abhas rupa bhakti. And it's a long purport. I'll just read one little section. Even in the stage of abhas rupa bhakti, all the reactions of sinful life are uprooted. That's parabdha karma. And vanquished. Srila Jiva Goswami expresses the opinion that the word karchnyena, agam dundvanti karchnyena, means that even if one has a desire to commit sinful actions, the roots of that desire are vanquished merely by abhas rupa bhakti. The example of Bhaskara, the sun, is most appropriate. The abhas feature of bhakti is compared to twilight. And the accumulation of one's sinful cut off reactions are destroyed. The accumulation of one's sinful reactions are destroyed. Now, the answer to the following question is yes. The question is it possible for someone who is in the abhas rupa bhakti to again commit sinful activities? The answer is yes. But wait a minute, because abhas bhakti is capable of rooting even the very root itself of tendencies. So then that means there's degrees of abhas rupa bhakti. And so we have stages of bhakti, kanishta, madhyama, and uttama. And there's stages of abhas rupa bhakti also. So we would like to move not only to the point where there's no longer even the possibility of sinful activity, but not even the possibility of forgetfulness. We'd like to move to Shuddha Bhakti. Now, there's degrees of desiring to move to Shuddha Bhakti. Sometimes persons can become a little comfortable with abhas bhakti and, not really too much pay attention to just puttering and going along with abhas bhakti. Or a desire to go a little bit further. That's good. And then maybe just a desire to go a little bit further. So my point is, there's degrees of using this term alignment, of what's at the heart level when we're doing bhakti. Is the heart level aligned with our values and our behaviors? That's where one can move from abhas to Shuddha. And we're going to have a whole class just dedicated to that topic. This is an image meant to show twilight. You can see some things, not too clearly, but it's twilight. But it's just as the sun is rising. Twilight means that juncture, that sandhi, when it's sun just rising or sun just setting. So here it's a little bit brighter, but it's not full sunlight yet. So to move forward, this alignment message is to make a strong yes to achieve Shuddha Bhakti. And those of you that attended the Festival of the Holy Name or heard the recordings, you remember that theme? Say yes to the holy name. So this is now say yes to Shuddha Bhakti, or to the pure holy name. And Bhakti, this alignment element of Bhakti, is to move towards the say yes to Shuddha Bhakti. So there's the little steps. We saw this same image in following Srila Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of the pure devotee. And the say yes to Shuddha Bhakti is acronyms for yearning, enthusiasm, and spontaneous stages. So the yearning for going beyond Abhas Bhakti, I've heard from some devotees lately. Their strong desire to go beyond Abhas, maybe going into further stages of Abhas, but ultimately to go beyond Abhas, there has to be a yearning. And that yearning, as it grows and becomes more fixed, becomes enthusiasm, becomes spontaneous. That's what this say yes means, in the acronym form. And there are things that will help the yearning, enthusiasm, and spontaneous. And that's making very clear what the definition of the goal is and your intention to reach the goal. Because it's not just a matter of taking a Bhakti Shastri quiz and check the right box. I know what the goal is. But there's, with progress of Bhakti, the alignment is the intention. Again, this is the heart level. Notice lots of focus is going to the heart level of Bhakti, naturally so. And then you may redefine or realign your value system. And then from that, your behaviors. But what drives the alignment, you have to be attentive to your mind or your values and your intelligence guiding those values and your behaviors. But Didami Buddhi Yogam Tam, Krishna gives the intelligence how to reach him when he sees someone is really clear and their intent upon reaching the goal. And from intention, there's no pun intended, from intention then comes attention. If you want your distracted chanting to become more attentive chanting, go to the intention area, go to the heart area. There's the answering of the question, what's important to you? You can say that's a value, but a deeper, more profound sense is, who are you? Not what's just what you value, but in the deepest of senses, who are you? And what's your ultimate mission? Now, Prabhupada wanted, the whole of the Vedas want to give us that. And sometimes we're a little, it's sufficient for us to be good people and be vegetarian, just do good things, not do bad things. That's good. I'm going to speak about that this evening. And then I put in different colored letters here, persistent realignment. That is checking as you're chanting. Are you chanting from your heart? Are you hearing with your heart? Is your heart aligned to Krishna in the form of his name? Or even as we're doing right at this very moment, the bhakti message. Oh, yes, I already know that. Next. Or is our value system connected to the heart? And then, the mouth and the other senses and the behaviors that we do, how we engage in our interactions with others. And I put it purposely because we had a whole session during the winter retreat on gratitude. So I'm going to emphasize this point of gratitude because I believe it's so important. My experience is it's so important. Supposing you feel grateful and after some time that feeling of gratitude fades, what happens? You get really disoriented, and the enthusiasm and the loving feeling and the looking forward to doing your activities of devotional service become more routine. It's like one devotee that comes to mind was just sharing honestly, when I do RT, I feel it's become mechanical. And that's not the purpose of deity worship. The regulation of deity worship is beyond, keep your senses engaged in good stuff instead of bad stuff. It's meant, at least the potential or the potency is to make your Krishna connection stronger by worship of the deity form of the Lord and offering of your food. It can become quite mechanical. Yes? A little story. Some years ago, once upon a time, I was a Sankirtan leader in the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn. And what we did every Saturday was really nice. The temple was packed. We had over 100 devotees in the temple. And every Saturday, everybody went on Sankirtan. I was a Sankirtan leader. Everybody except the Pujari. Krishna didn't worship himself. The Pujari did that worship. But the cook did his cooking, and he went out after the Rajbhog was offered, and off he went. And somebody went out in the morning and came back and made the 4 o'clock offering. So even the president, so it was just me and the Pujari for the day. And the entire temple was, 98 devotees were out. And I remember one particular day, we ran out of lunches. And I was, in a little bit of a passionate Sankirtan leader mode. So I went to the kitchen and got some fruits from the Boga room. And we had a little place. So I put the Boga in that little place, kind of like a cabinet, and rang a bell and quickly made an offering and gave the fruits to the devotees. I can't remember, maybe there was granola or something else that was already offered. So somebody saw me doing that and then reported it to the temple president. And they said, making offerings isn't just convenience. If you know what I mean. It's not mechanical. So I was realigned by the president. And follow proper procedure and don't just, yada, yada, yada. And so it was an important lesson. I thanked the president, and they informed me who ratted on me, and I thanked that person too, because it was helpful. It was a realignment principle. So in the course of our bhakti lives, not just the spiritual master who gives us the seed of bhakti, we heard this one yesterday, but all of those persons who have been very helpful to you, have nourished the seed of bhakti in different ways. This is not a new thing to any of you, but I'm saying it because I believe it's very important that there's gratitude in the heart towards those who have helped us and nourished our bhakti. Because that's your best friend. Or to be somebody's best friend. Help them in their bhakti life. And helping in their bhakti life can mean all kinds of things. Like, I send some notices to people who are senior citizens and ask them, please I checked it out. These new vaccines, they're not the nasty kind, they're the safe kind. Please get your vaccine. And if you have questions about this or that or the other option, here's a person you can connect. So it's having to do with the body, but the purpose is the welfare of that person's bhakti life. Back to intention, that's the intention. The application of the intention is the bodily welfare. And without going into it, the holistic picture of a devotee is there's all these different components, and we're concerned. We're concerned with their emotional life, we're concerned with their physical life, we're concerned with this and that and the other thing. But ultimately, it's the soul's positive connection, willing connection with the personality of Godhead that we must acknowledge and nourish. And those who have helped you, be ever grateful, not once a week step back. So I wanted to say in this regard, there's a little document that I prepared, and I think I meant to send it, but Nitya Priya will send me a little note to remind me to send it to her, and she can circulate it to others. It's a gratitude journal exercise, without going into it just now. Cultivate gratitude. It should be there, but it has a tendency to fade because we get distracted and we're conditioned souls and all that stuff. And I specifically wanted to make mention to our younger devotees, our youth, we say, but just in the past week, from two different people who, just going through their lives, very sincere young devotees, struggling with staying spiritually connected because, fill in the blank, academic pressures and time constraints and this and that and the other things. And it's not that their hearts have, switched into the off position, but the gratitude element in my evaluation has not been sufficiently renewed. And so this is little small letters here, youth. Turn attention to those who have nourished your bhakti. And it can be the devotees born into devotees' families or raised in devotees' families, but it's not exclusive. Youthfulness is a period of more turmoil than I want to experience again. One of my main impetuses in not taking birth again is I don't want to become a teenager again. It's horrible. So a lot of empathy. But one of the things that will help anyone is renew that sense of gratitude for what? And when that gratitude touches your heart, the sense of connection is again strong. And then you're ready to do the realignment exercise again and again and again. It's because we're out of alignment and it hurts when your spine is out of alignment. Go to a chiropractor, one that knows what they're doing. And it's healthy. So when you're doing, a couple more points, when you're doing this realignment and alignment itself, there has to be intention and clarity of intention, a doable intention for your particular position in bhakti. I haven't read it yet, but I intend, time permitting and everything, to go through a book that Shivara Maharaj has written just on this topic, 1,000-page book on Sankalpa, and essentially Sankalpa is needed at every stage of bhakti. Be very clear what your intentions are. Sankalpa, in one sense, meaning intention, the consciousness behind. The Krishna conscious intention behind whatever you do, how you dress, how you speak. There's a nice group of devotees, who are getting some training, whatever comprehensive training from their Krishna Maharaj on this empathic communication. So there has to be, to change the manner of how you speak, there has to be some purpose behind. Otherwise, it's, skill set that wasn't going to come. You may have the tool, but it's not going to bring about the change of how you speak. And because it's the consciousness behind and the intention that's connecting that consciousness. So I want to read a little bit from as you see in the image here. This is Gopakumar receiving his mantra from his guru. He doesn't even know the name of his guru initially, but it says he has a very, very high regard for his guru, who agrees to give him mantra and gives him his mantra. So as he's chanting his mantra, he remembers with gratitude the value of what it is he has received, although he doesn't fully understand what the mantra is. But he has faith in his guru, and that faith in his guru hasn't faded. So I'm just going to read two sections. As you can see on the screen, it's 2:28. And this is when Gopakumar is back in Vrindavan, because he traveled around a bit, then went back to Vrindavan, and is experiencing great happiness being in Vrindavan, and he's experiencing great happiness from chanting his mantra, although he hasn't yet achieved the fulfillment of his mantra chanting. So here's the verse in the commentary. For fear of being ungrateful, I never gave up my japa, nor for a moment was I able to forget this Brajabhumi. And the commentary. From Gopakumar's point of view, the life of tending cows in Vrindavan was more attractive than any other circumstance, including residence in Nandana Vana, the forest of Indra. He went to Indraloka and hung out in Indraloka for a while. In fact, he became Indra for a while. But far more delightful was Braja. As long as he continued chanting his mantra, this attitude would not be covered by illusion, because the natural effect of Sri Madan Gopal's mantra was to attract the heart to the Lord's sports in Vrindavan. Wanting to avoid being ungrateful, Gopakumar never stopped chanting. He might justify abandoning the mantra only after attaining its final goal. If he were to stop chanting before then, he would not discover the mantra's full benefits. Thus, to stop the chanting prematurely would amount to ingratitude, for without having bothered to receive all the mantra's benefits, how could he properly acknowledge them? Far out, huh? Gratitude as a seed is not yet matured. So gratitude as a seed is meant to be matured. And we've received something, going back to Friday evening's discussion. Om Jnana Timirandasya. We've had our Ajnana Timirandasya, the darkness of ignorance, dispelled. And we were just walking along, being in La La Land, like a lot of people, not even knowing we're in ignorance and ignorance. And somehow mercy came our way by the compassion of our founder Acharya or his deputed representatives. And with great fortune came Prasadi Bhai, Bhakti Lata Beach, the seed. Same discussion as Friday evening. So here it is again. He received. He was just herding calves with his friends. And he saw Jana Sharma, his guru. He didn't know his name at that time. Later he found out. And he got mercy. So to understand the fullness of that mercy that he received, he'd have to experience the full effect of the mantra. That's our position. Otherwise, it's weak gratitude at best, or an ingratitude. Wow. Ingratitude for not receiving the fullness of the mantra. We all have mantra, at least Maha Mantra, and other mantras. So here's the next section. This is now Gopakumar went to Tapaloka. There's some details of how that happened. Now he's in Tapaloka and is being instructed about meditation by Pippalayan Rishi. And he in his meditation, he sees Madan Gopal. But it's not just seeing Madan Gopal. He wants to serve him in person. But he feels that it's a very delightful place, but he doesn't get distracted from his chanting. Here's the verse. Nevertheless, I stayed there for some time, attracted by the display of great power, out of respect for my guru's order. And because I had seen how effective my mantra was, I kept on chanting. Commentary. The atmosphere of Tapaloka weakened Gopakumar's resolve to see the Lord. But still he persevered in chanting his japa. His guru had ordered him never to stop chanting. And Gopakumar did not want to be ungrateful by disobeying. No, this is the negative. The positive is following the instructions or taking the instructions of one's spiritual master as life and soul. And then there's the flip side, and that's being ungrateful. And you don't take that instruction as your life and soul. You take it as you want it. And that's not complete. You can say softer, it's not complete. Or say it's stronger, it's ingratitude. Or say it a little differently. When you're fielding that gratitude, it carries you to the goal. Gratitude is so important. I shared with a professional person who's not a devotee, because he was asking, how's it going? Are you keeping good health? So yeah, but here's what I'm doing. And I just gave a seminar on gratitude during difficult times. And this man is which organization? Not Seventh-day Adventists. I forget. A very mode of goodnessy type of organization, Christian organization. Called the Friends. What's the group? Somebody here know? Quakers. There we go. Quakers. So this man is a Quaker. And he was silent after I said, that that's really important. I need to, because he's going through a hard time. I know. I don't know the detail, but I know he's going through a hard time. There's multiple things at once. Very nice man, very good man. Gratitude is so important to carry us through to the goal. And in this case, he's in the second section, he's in Tapaloka, and it's not like he's going through tribulation like we are. We're not Tapaloka. And we're in Kali Yuga Loka. So we have lots of hard times. But he doesn't want to be ungrateful even when things are going great. Doesn't want to be ungrateful. That power of gratitude carries one further and further and further. It's giving back to that from which you have received, or that person from whom you have received. And so here's Gopakumar back in the spiritual world, reunited with Krishna. Beautiful painting. Now, he happens to be a cowherd boy, but, one may not be a cowherd boy, one may be any one of these other entities in a loving relationship with Krishna. And so by pursuing this alignment principle, all of your spiritual desires can be fulfilled. So, my dear devotees, may all your spiritual desires be fulfilled. Yay! But don't be complacent, please, because then it won't happen. And last is just a nice sharing. This coming weekend, after this weekend, I'm going to be, I was invited, so I decided to take a 4-part seminar on Govardhan Parikrama. And by Krishna's kind arrangement, I came across something that's very wonderful. This is Rupa Goswami's Ashtaka, glorifying Govardhan. And it's sung in a meter. The Sanskrit of the meter says Mad Peacock. That's the name of the meter. Mad Peacock. Mata. Mad Peacock. So I found out about that. There are other Govardhan Astakams by Vishwanath Chakravarti. It happens to be, Govardhan happens to be an object of devotion, a place of great devotion, not only for Subala and his altar, but for many devotees that are worshiping Govardhan Shilas and our great acharyas. So I think we can all appreciate that as followers of Rupa Goswami, let us see how he's appreciating Govardhan. And the refrain that comes in every verse is a request, a petition to Govardhan to fulfill his spiritual desires or fill all the desires. So here's, I hope the sound is going to work. The flutes.
गोविन्दास्योत्तंसितवंशि क्वणितोद्यल् लास्योत्कण्ठा मत्तमयूर व्रजवीता राधाकुण्डो तुङ्गतरङ्गाङ्कुरिताङ्ग प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धनपूर्णाम्. O Govardhan, surrounded by hosts of peacocks intoxicated by the desire to dance that is arising due to the enchanting melodies of the Vamsi flute, which decorates the beautiful face of Govinda. O Govardhan, whose limbs display horripilations of joy in the form of sprouts that grow due to the high rising waves of Radhakund. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires. यस्योत्कर्षाद् विस्मितदीभिर्व्रजदेवी वृन्दैर्वर्यं वर्णितमास्ते हरिदास्यं चित्रैर्युञ्जं स्तद्युतिपुञ्जे अखिलाशां प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धनपूर्णाम्. You are the one whose excellence caused the astonished groups of gopis to describe you as Haridasa Varya, the greatest among servants of Hari. As you illuminate all directions by your various clusters of amazing light emanating from the transcendental moonstones, sapphires, rubies, etc. on your surface.
Well, because he went to this. What? I have to go right back to the beginning of the ashram. Because I'll have to go back to the beginning of the ashram. It'll go there, but what happens? I just click on spine, moving through. It's just how it's set up. Stand by, everybody. We're going to go back. Translated by Hari Parshad Das very recently. He gave a whole seminar just on this one day, the Ashtakam.
Govindasyotam sitavamshi kvanitodyal lasyutkanta mattamayura vrajavita Radha kundo tungatarangangkuritanga pratyashammi tvam kuru govardhana purnam.
O Govardhan, surrounded by hosts of peacocks intoxicated by the desire to dance that is arising due to the enchanting melodies of the Vamsi flute, which decorates the beautiful face of Govinda. O Govardhan, whose limbs display horripilations of joy in the form of sprouts that grow due to the high rising waves of Radhakund. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
Yasyotkarshat vismitadhibirvrajadevi vrindairvaryam varnitamaste haridasyam chitreryunjam stadyutipunje akilasham pratyashammi tvam kuru govardhana purnam.
You are the one whose excellence caused the astonished groups of gopis to describe you as Haridasa Varya, the greatest among servants of Hari. As you illuminate all directions by your various clusters of amazing light, emanating from the transcendental moonstones, sapphires, rubies, etc. on your surface. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
Upper right corner, there's Govardhan.
Vindadbhiryo mandiratam kandara vrindai kandaischendur bandhubiranandayatisham वैदुर्याभे निर्जरतो येऽपि सोऽयं प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धनपूर्णाम्
You are the one who delights the Supreme Lord through various caves that resemble jewel-bedecked temple sanctums, as well as through your kanda, elephant foot yam, your water lilies, and also through the sparkling, clean, dark-hued waters of your waterfalls. Oh, Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
शश्वद्विश्वालङ्करणालङ्कृतिमेध्यै प्रेम्णा धौते धातुभिरुद्दीपितसानो नित्याक्रन्दत्कन्दरवेणु ध्वनिहर्षात् प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धनपूर्णाम्
Oh, Govardhan, whose plateaus are glowing due to your various minerals, like natural red arsenic, oxides of various colors, etc., thoroughly washed by a pure love, which constantly act as pure ornaments for Hari, the ornament of the entire universe. O Govardhan, whose caves always appear to sing out loudly due to the joyous sounds made by hollow bamboos. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
प्राज्याराजिर्यस्य विराजत्युपलानां कृष्णेनासौ सन्ततमध्यासितमध्या सोऽयं बन्धुर्बन्धुरधर्म सुरवीणां प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धनपूर्णाम्
You are the one whose great multitudes of flat stones appear splendid when they're constantly used by Krishna as places for sitting. You are the friend of all the cows, and thus your nature is very sweet. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
निर्द्वन्द्वान संहृतिहेतुं घनवृन्दं जित्वा जम्बारातिमसम्भावितबादं स्वानां वैरं यः किल निर्यापितवान् सः प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धनपूर्णाम्
O Govardhan, you are the one who certainly overpowered the destruction causing hosts of clouds. Thus, having conquered the unconquerable Indra You are the one who calmed down the burning enmity of your mountain relatives. Oh, Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
बिभ्राणो यः श्रीभुजदण्डोपरिभर्तुश्छत्रीभावं नाम यथार्थं स्वमकर्षीत् कृष्णोपज्ञं यस्य मकस्तिष्ठति सोऽयं प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धन पूर्णाम्.
You are the one who gave true meaning to your own name, as you accepted the role of an umbrella hanging over the beautiful arm of your Lord Giridhari. You are the one whose worship is established directly by Krishna's revelation. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
गान्धर्वाय केलिकलाबान्धवकुञ्जे क्षुण्णैस्तस्य कङ्कणहारे प्रयताङ्गा रासक्रीडामण्डितयोपत्यकयाढ्या प्रत्याशां मे त्वं कुरु गोवर्धन पूर्णाम्.
Oh, dear friend of Gandharva Radha, assisting her in the kunjas, forest bowers, and her love sports. Oh, Govardhan, whose limbs are decorated with her fallen ornaments, like bracelets and garlands. Oh, Govardhan, equipped with surrounding flat areas, decorated with the signs of Rasalila. Oh, Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
अदृश्येनि शेखरपद्याष्टकमेतत् कृष्णाम्भोद प्रेष्ठपटेद्यस्तव देहि प्रेमानन्दं तुण्डिलयन् क्षिप्रममन्दं तं हर्षेण स्वीकुरुतां ते हृदयेश.
O crest jewel among all mountains, O mountain dear to the dark cloud-hued Krishna, may the Lord of your heart, Krishna, happily accept the living entity who studies these 8 prayers dedicated to you, while quickly nourishing his boundless joy of prema. O Govardhan, please arrange the fulfillment of my desires.
Nice flute song. So that's the presentation on alignment. And I shared with a god brother who I know loves Vrindavan and has a particular liking for Govardhan. And when I shared this poem, not the presentation, but just the poem itself, he wrote back without knowing. Actually, I asked him something else. He wrote back, "May Krishna fulfill all your spiritual desires." So then I sent him this. He said, "Wow, very beautiful." So, as he said to me, I'm saying to all of you, may Krishna fulfill all your spiritual desires. And in the fulfillment of your spiritual desires, please be ready for some thorns in the path and some fires of tribulation, fires of ordeal, and different things that Krishna may be doing to strengthen your steadfastness, using Bhaktisiddhanta's language, and your ardor, your desire to reach the goal. Obstacle no come when you reach the goal. So we're ready for the next thing on our schedule.
Hare Krishna. Next, we have the offering of the Vyasa Puja book to Guru Maharaj by Subal Prabhu. Haribo.
This represents a lot of work from a lot of devotees. That much I know. Not just writing the offerings, but putting it all together. Okay, so now?
And following Maharaj, we would request if you can read your offering to Srila Prabhupada.
My offering to Prabhupada. Okay. Well, because I'm strapped in here, I'm just offer my obeisances to Prabhupada from a distance. And Nama Om Vishnupadaya. Oh, that's going to be in the offering itself. Kusum Sarohara. Page 32. Oh. Okay. But they can hear? Yeah. Okay. Om Ajnana Timarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshudan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutade Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavari Paschachadi Satarine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lagharate Garim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. My dear and most respected spiritual master and eternal Father, please accept my most humble and respectful obeisances in the dust of your most merciful lotus feet. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. In this age of abundant darkness, can anyone estimate how expansive and how vital is the role that your divine grace continues to play and manifest in the lives of sincere seekers of the truth? Is there a limit? Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj provided his followers with the Sri Sri Vishva Vaishnava Raja Sabha, conventionally known as the Gaudiya Mission. You, as a recipient of immeasurable Krishna Shakti, during your lifetime manifested around the globe that very blueprint received from your Guru Maharaj, namely an actual worldwide spiritual organizational structure giving shape and life to the Bhagavata vision expressed by Narada Muni to Vyasa. The vision of a revolution in the impious lives of those captured by the distractions of this age of Kali. After Vyasadeva received Narada's order to refine the Bhagavata vision, which he had previously composed in a synopsis form, Vyasadeva compiled the current form of Srimad Bhagavatam according to that order. Krishna himself, in the mood of his own devotee, appearing as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with his followers, continued carrying forward that precise vision. Yet it was you who factually manifested this vision within the entire world in an unprecedented fashion and within such a short period of time, never before seen in the history of religion. I would like to cite three profound examples of this profound mercy, which continues to impact the world today. Your Bhaktivedanta purports, the Vrindavan temple, and currently in your having given such prominence to the development of the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. You wrote to a disciple on 18th November 1972, quote, "These books and magazines are our most important propaganda weapon to defeat the ignorance of Maya's army. And the more we produce such literature and sell them profusely all over the world, the more we shall deliver the world from the suicide course." In Sri Vrindavan, streams of pilgrims come to the Holy Dham from all over the world. Daily, these international spiritual seekers pour through the Krishna Balaram temple, receiving the holy name and the mercy of the deities you personally installed at great sacrifice. Recent developments in Mayapur regarding the near completion of some portions of the TOVP are yet another display of your current influence in spiritualizing the entire world. Ambarish Prabhu shared with me that he had no expectation that this project would have moved so swiftly to its present stage of development. This is all due to your empowerment, your imparting Shakti to many of your sincere followers to carry out your mission. Recalling all these achievements, I find myself asking another question, in addition to the one raised at the beginning of this offering. How many souls are actually searching for the truth? Out of those who may be capable of attaining siddhi or perfection, the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that few truly are even interested or capable of approaching the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that this age of Kali is so bad that the rare, sincere seeker is commonly misled. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote an entire book explicitly dedicated to guiding those who are searching for truth. Faithfully following in his footsteps, you most liberally gave the entire world the same wisdom and more. The opportunity to receive the fullness of Krishna's mercy through his most rare devotional service, leading to Braja Prem and all that is included. With profound awe, I express my deepest gratitude for having been one such soul whose fortune of life was to come in contact with you and receive the seed of Braja Bhakti. That you successfully gave this most valuable gift to the entire world proves that you were empowered with Krishna Shakti, which you combined with your indomitable determination. Was there opposition? Were there obstacles, setbacks, challenges, forces of Kali of so many varieties presented themselves before you, which you had to contend with, despite your being Krishna's empowered and protected instrument, dedicated exclusively to manifesting in unadulterated form the Bhagavata vision within this world? Did that deter your determination? Not in the slightest. Most of us who are striving to assist you in furthering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission are far less than perfect. We make mistakes. Our determination does not come close to matching yours yet. Despite all our shortcomings, unflinchingly our faith rests in you and the most munificent Lord Chaitanya, whom you are serving. Kindly accept me, despite my error-filled attempts to assist and serve you favorably. Pleasing you is my life and soul, the real meaning and value of my life. I'm at your feet, begging for your continued mercy. Please keep me forever and ever engaged in your service. Your humble servant, Prabhupada Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, we would like to now call upon Guru Maharaj's well-wishers and disciples to share their offerings, starting with Saranga Prabhu's audio offering, which we'll play next, and after that with Danishta Mataji from New York.
Gurudev, take me home
Oh, yeah.
to the
With
place
video.
I belong.
With video.
Vrindavan,
I have video.
to the place I belong. I would like to thank you for opening my eyes. You are my savior, Gurudev. You are working hard for our deliverance. Your selfless service has no bound. Gurudev, take me home to the place I belong. Golok Vrindavan, take me home to the place I belong. You are fully committed to Srila Prabhupada. I sincerely pray to be yours. Without your mercy, I am just an orphan soul. In your shelter, I'm protected. Gurudev, take me home to the place I belong. Golok Vrindavan, take me home to the place I belong. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gurudev, take me home to the place I belong. Golok Vrindavan, take me home to the place I belong.
Thank you so much. And next we will call on Tanisha Mataji. Her offering is not in the book, but we worked on trying to get her video to work, but it won't work. So we'll just hear her. And followed by Pankaj Janab Prabhu from India.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Acharya Deva is not a sectarian concern, for when we speak of the fundamental principle of Guru Dev or Acharya Deva, we speak of something that is of universal application. There does not arise any question of discriminating my Guru from yours or anyone else's. There's only one Guru who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. This is a statement by Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Ramapada Swami, iti namine. My dear spiritual master, Srila Ramapada Swami, please accept my humble obeisances on the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. I usually don't listen to your evening classes, but the suspense that had built during the morning class compelled me to listen to your evening class. This extraordinary class took place on the evening of December 17, 2020. You have been reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, text 11, Lord Brahma's prayers. This evening was part 18. That particular evening, your words took a life of their own. You were describing the stem of the lotus in the shape of a cylinder, or Hiranyagarbha. As you continued to speak, your words transported me to the side of this cylinder. The time of the day seemed to be dusk. You were standing by the cylinder, surrounded by a group of devotees, speaking and pointing to the cylinder. You repeated 3 times. This lotus is the reservoir of all conditioned souls. This lotus is the reservoir of all conditioned souls. This lotus is the reservoir of all conditioned souls. You continued. The totality of all living entities make up the form of the lotus. The sum total of the karma of all living entities is the lotus. Lotus flower is the universal Virat form. Adaksaja, beyond the perception of the senses, is the name of the Supreme Lord. It means to see. As your words penetrated my soul, I had the uncanny feeling that I had previously stood by the side of this cylinder. Mm-hmm. At that precise moment, for the first time in my life, I could see, understand my karma. In the days that followed, I started to experience that the grip of this feeling or that karma, somehow or other, had lost its significance. I felt free as this was swarming around my mind. Then it came to the time for questions. Question 1. What happens to our karma after this lifetime? Guru Maharaj answered, it is withdrawn by the time energy. It goes into anesthesia. The subtle body dissolved by the bhakti process. Question 2. How to see Paramatma featuring every living entity? Guru Maharaj answered, the perception is immaterial. It is direct perception, pratyaksa, knowledge which bhakti gives to, is that which gives this direct perception. The weakness of our regard for Krishna is what's covering us. The original consciousness of the living entity is awakening by hearing. We want to awaken love for Krishna. We are tiny. We are very tiny. Don't identify with the coverings. Identify with who you are. Direct perception requires the power of bhakti. By the grace of Krishna, you will perceive it, and it will stay with you as your bhakti matures. Then a child asked, how did Krishna get his powers? Guru Maharaj answered, what is the source of that which is the source of everything? There is nothing that is the source of Krishna because he is the source of everything. That is the absolute truth. The cause that has no prior cause is Krishna. Krishna is the cause of all causes by definition. That is the absolute truth. Everything else is relative truth. Krishna does not need anything to produce anything because it is all within him. Okay, next question. Is it okay to expect appreciation from others? Guru Maharaj. It is not good. It is not good. What Lord Chaitanya said is correct. If we want to go beyond conditioned life, we have to let go of that expectation. What is life if you don't have an expectation? You just serve without expectation. That's liberation. Next question. How to follow good karma? Guru Maharaj. Follow the Bhagavad Gita, the largest section in the Bhagavad Gita, modes of nature and the effects of the living entities. Next, how to understand the stem of the lotus. Guru Maharaj, the planetary system is arranged by Brahma. It is a conceptual stem. Modern astronomy does not match Vedic cosmology. It is a different model. How the two fit together is not clear. To make it match up is perhaps a futile effort. The Vedic model does not adjust. It gives a picture that is very clean and perfect. To understand the Vedic model requires entering into another consciousness, another perspective. That's it. Guru Maharaj said, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One moment, there is another question. What is the significance of the lotus? Guru Maharaj. Krishna's feet has markings of lotuses. His feet are described as lotus feet. The lotus flower is the shape of Krishna Loka. The lotus is the place upon which Lord Brahma is born. It also has some symbolism in different cultures, peace, harmony, beauty. We say all these things are within the lotus. The root of all is Krishna's planet. And where Krishna's feet reside is a symbol of perfection and beauty. Krishna's planet Goloka is lotus shaped, but it is a planet of cows. So there are a lot of cows on that lotus. Krishna likes cows and he likes lotuses. Pankaja means takes birth from mud. The lotus grows from the mud. Those are material lotuses. Material lotuses are reflections of spiritual lotuses. It is a primordial existence of the significance of Krishna Loka. It is a primordial lotus that is Krishna's abode, and they are reflections of that lotus that grow from mud. I say this is all extraordinary. These and much more all took place in a class that lasted 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 2 seconds. The Acharya, Srila Ramapada Swami, skillfully, with full divine consciousness, moved from one question to the next without faltering or hesitation. He answered every question posed before him. I could see this is who my Gurudev is, a transparent medium who has appeared to teach you, me, and all others. This is a statement, and this is a purport from Srila Prabhupada. It's in Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 32. It says, the Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message, and that is the only way to experience the transcendental subject. As fire is kindled from wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of man can similarly be kindled by another's divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only, and thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. Guru Maharaj, on many occasions you have stated that Srila Prabhupada has taken the philosophy and made it into pablum. You have further taken that pablum and chewed it, digested, and are delivering it to us like a loving mother bird feeds her chicks. Oh, Guru Maharaj, through your countless hours of research and study, you are presenting the vast scope of the Vedas in a logical, relatable manner that is available to all those that want to hear. 2 daily classes, sometimes 3, who can count? What dedication and compassion. I am just in awe, Guru Maharaj. Always praying and begging that no matter what, never to lose the precious, irreplaceable sense that I belong to you. Eternally in your debt, your servant, Tanista de Vidasi.
Next, we have Pankaj Naba Prabhu from India, followed by Krishna Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Om Ajnanatinandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakhurinutam Jenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Ramapada Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Pastadeshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Guru Maharaj and all devotees for giving me this opportunity to read these offerings to Guru Maharaj in this special auspicious occasion of Vyasa Puja of Guru Maharaj. So initially I want to beg forgiveness that if I am having some communication not proper, please forgive me. So I want to read our dear Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna. Please accept my and all my wife and Govinda's humble obeisances at the lotus feet of your divine lotus feet. All glory to His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. At the outset, I want to express my deep gratitude to you and all the devotees for giving us this opportunity to participate in this Vyasa Puja ceremony and to get your unlimited mercy. Guru Maharaj, because of your causeless mercy, we got this opportunity to get this initiation at Siddham Mayapur Dham in 3rd March 2016. So thereby opening this gate for the devotional service by this seed of devotion that you have implanted in our heart. Brahmande Bhamite Ovan Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beats. So we are very, very fortunate to get this devotion seed through you. And for that, we are deeply indebted in our heart. And as you have just told, that gratitude is the seed of love, and that gratitude is the seed yet to be matured. So to get this love, we have to have our deep gratitude in the heart for all the devotees, those who have helped us in Krishna consciousness, and especially Guru Maharaj for giving us the seed of love. And as expressed now, we will try to align our life in this direction so that our goal is reached. Though we are not Gopakumara, but we should try to see this Gopakumara's how they reach this, how he reached this Golok Vrindavan and got his desire fulfilled. So that gratitude will take us to reach our goal. So we pray at your lotus feet that though I don't have that much gratitude, please shower that blessings that the gratitude should imbibe in my heart and our family members' heart, so that we can serve you better always in life after life. Guru Maharaj, during our initiation, after the day of initiation, you have given us some specific services like systematic Shastra study and outreach to the people. So though I am not able to do much in this direction, but still then I am trying my level best with your blessings. And I think as a squirrel, I will try to serve you in the mission of Srila Prabhupada and the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So definitely, I am very much hopeful that your mercy will definitely take us in this path, the service you have given to adhere to. So in this case, so definitely one thing also we requested for your kind visit to Puri Jagannath Dham, and at that time, though you are not able to concretely tell, but definitely our desire was fulfilled in the year 2018 when you conducted this Puri Yatra during the month of Kartik. And definitely, as a humble servant, I got many of these opportunity of service services. It was just like your deep mercy, otherwise it was not possible. And I was able to get little bit service of serving you and other devotees. And this is my lifetime prayer that life after life I should get this service opportunity and devotee association. By that, by that I can continue in this Krishna consciousness and serve the devotees better and better, more and more. Guru Maharaj, our deep connections towards Srila Prabhupada, that has increased because of your following this preaching missions towards Srila Prabhupada given directions, and by that, Srila Prabhupada has given 4 missions, 4 main things, like book is the basis, utility the principle, purity the force, and preaching is the essence. So you have given that opportunity and always share this story of book decision. So I was not able to do anything, and by praying deeply to you in the year 2018 and 2019 during this Gita Marathon, we could distribute some books, and definitely I was feeling helpless that I am not able to do this service, though it was very important service, and that is the heart of Srila Prabhupada. And by your mercy, whatever little bit service I could do, it is everything is yours only. And by your compassion and causeless mercy, we will able to do some little bit service. So for that also, I am very much deeply grateful in my core of the heart for getting this service opportunity and for serving Lord Jagannath, and by your causeless mercy, this is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible for a fallen soul like me. Guru Maharaj, this mercy of book decisions, in addition to that, outreach to the people and pressure decision in my village also, a little bit is happening because of your causeless mercy. And by your mercy also, we are trying to do little service at here also in Bhubaneswar. But during this pandemic situation, of course, it was almost not able to do any much this service. And of course, you have kind.
Can you hear me?
graciously-
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'd
yes,
like
Guru Maharaj.
to a close because it's too long. If you could bring it to a close. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your kind blessings and causeless mercy to us. So I pray your lotus feet to give you more mercy so that we can serve you better and better. And we pray to Lord Jagannath for your good health and continuing to serve your Prabhupada and mission. Just Prabhupada ki jai, just Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna.
His enthusiasm knows no limits. Not just the speaking, but he writes regularly and he's doing lots and lots and lots of different outreach and book distribution and this and that and teaching, and his enthusiasm knows no limits. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Next, we have Krishna Archana Mataji, followed by Atulya Mataji.
Does she need a microphone?
Dear Srila Ramapada Swami, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and to Srila Prabhupada. In listening daily to classes that covered Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 35 to 38, and more recently, personalities from Ramayana, and hearing the questions posed by devotees in Chicago, in Detroit, in Beijing, and Shanghai, I have to reflect on the fact that responses carry inbuilt instructions. Srila Prabhupada states that the acceptance of the spiritual master is implied through the questions directed to him, yourself, Sri Swami, and what is permitting persons to progress in spiritual life, and is what is permitting persons to progress in spiritual life. In reflecting on this point, I'm understanding that merely framing a question harnesses a mental, emotional reality that is held up to the light of a spiritual reality painted by Srila Vyasadeva or Valmiki and the commentaries of the Acharyas. Your pinpointing that mental reality of the devotees asking a question is the critical component to allow for a shift closer to aligning one's heart in devotion to the Supreme Lord. There is a conversation of Srila Prabhupada, Conversations with Srila Prabhupada, volume 19, Mayapur 1976, wherein he examines what it is to see. He calls the immediate physical seeing as condemned seeing. For example, this is quoting Srila Prabhupada, the sun has come all of a sudden, close quote. That is your seeing. And again, when the sun is not there, the sun is dead. Close quote. He then dismisses seeing as being faith and says instead that seeing is factual. Srila Prabhupada's words, at 6:30 in the evening, there will be no sun, close quote. So such a statement can be made if one has knowledge of the movement of the sun. So Srila Prabhupada dismisses that one must have faith in that knowledge, rather that one has to learn how to have faith and how to see. Thus, by your responding to the diverse questions posed at the culmination of the class, you're allowing for each person to receive guidance in mental and moral development and to become qualified to see from the scriptural standpoint. Such seeing from the spiritual point of view is explained by Lord Krishna. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. That's Lord Krishna talking Bhagavad Gita 15:10. So I'm taking phrase from there. Pasyam skyana chakshushaha. Those who have the eyes of knowledge. So as Srila Prabhupada comments on this verse, it requires a great deal of knowledge understood from Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures heard from an honest spiritual master to be able to understand why one is living in a particular kind of body, functioning under the circumstances of the dictate of material nature. An example of your understanding is a response to two questions raised in July at the Chicago Temple post-Bhagavatam class. The questions being how the different acharyas interpret somewhat differently, and also how it is that they are able to have such a detailed understanding. The interpretations are consistent with the Bhagavatam, not otherwise. In other words, there could be other renderings of the Sanskrit that don't align with Krishna's nature, so they don't mention these. These are your responses. That is one, the Sanskrit terms can mean different things. And then a second, how do they envision details? There is a second, that is a technical answer. These are your words, so it wasn't put in quotes here. There is a phrase our acharyas use, svakya rasa, which means they enter into the pastimes through their elevated consciousness, through mantra. Like, for example, the six Goswamis, particularly Rupa and Sanatan, they were assigned to establish lost places of Krishna's pastimes. So how do they do that? Because the places are lost, the pastimes are there. So how do you reestablish the places? They are connected to Super Soul, and they would go to the place and they would recite in the vicinities over and over. By doing so, they would experience the pastimes and establish this is where the pastime took place. Raghunath Das Goswami made his residence in Radhakund and stayed there for the balance of his life. There is a pond a little distant from Radhakund where Raghunath Das wrote a book in detail describing a pastime that is not described in Bhagavatam. How can different acharyas describe the pastimes in different ways? Because the pastimes are variegated, Prabhupada explains like this: variety is the mother of enjoyment. Krishna's pastimes are like the spool. There is a theme stirring a particular emotion, and it is done in different ways. Material senses do not function without the demigods to empower that sense. He is variegated, not hackneyed, and eternal. We can recognize the variegatedness of Krishna, and they are enjoying in different ways. The best of the enjoyers does not have to be bored and hackneyed, does not have to be bored and have hackneyed reruns. So those were your words, John Swami. I wasn't putting quotes. Such a response clearly captured the underlying mental assumption that human sense recall has limitations by pointing to experience on a plane of elevated consciousness via mantra, and also highlighting the interrelationship between language and understanding. Difference of emphasis by the same words having alternate meanings, and so allowing for alternate understanding or emphasis. You kindly offer the insight that these alternate emphases do, however, meet the criterion of being consistent within the framework of Krishna's nature. That shift closer in aligning one's heart in devotion to the Supreme Lord via your responses that hold within them all these insights is very personal. So, a question. Sharam Swami, Akura performed his duties with Kamsa with great clarity. Oh, this was my question posed to yourself. So the second of the two questions posed about Bhagavatam class example. Akura performed his duties with Kamsa with great clarity and forthrightness. He expressed his reality within, and now he is very ecstatic that he's going to be meeting Krishna finally. This was the purpose you recounted for his even having stayed in the service of Kamsa. You responded, yes. He's a very strong personality. The question comes, this is continuing. So I'm still talking. He's a very strong personality. The question comes, it seems that he is going to be extracting Krishna from Gokula. It is so significant an act considering what emotional devastation is going to be caused. One wonders, is there not a little trepidation in his act that he's about to perform despite his ecstasy in finally getting to meet Krishna? So you rephrased the question, Sharam Swami. Did he have some apprehension about the consequences? So this is your response. Taking Krishna from Vrindavan to bring him to Mathura, the consequence for him doing that, Brajavasis are not going to like this, and they are going to hold some bad feeling against him for doing this. The messenger is going to get some bad feelings just by being the messenger. He is a pure devotee, so it can be either A or B. He knew, but he did what Krishna wanted him to do. For devotees do whatever Krishna wants them to do, whatever the consequences will be. It doesn't say what were his contemplations about consequences, or B, his consideration of consequences was covered by his doing what Krishna wanted him to do by service. So he wasn't thinking about the consequences of his doing that service. It doesn't say what his contemplation was. There are going to be consequences for this. The main focus, even in the course of staying in Mathura, since you continuing, of staying in Mathura, was seeing Krishna. And we heard the prayer that he was contemplating. This was in the chapter summary in the beginning. I get to see Krishna's lotus feet. So that ecstasy was his contemplation. And the consequences of seeing Krishna's lotus feet and the service that he had to do wasn't like, let's see his lotus feet and then go back to Mathura because there'll be consequences if I take him. Indicates that he wasn't considering in that way at all in Krishna's service. So continuing Sharam Swami, I want to say two things. He told Kamsa, I want you to know that you are inviting death. I am a minister. Ministers have a duty to speak wisdom to the ones they are advising. And I am letting you know you are inviting death, but I'm happy to go. The detail is he left early in the morning and he reached in the evening. To go from Mathura to Vrindavan doesn't take all day. He got this spiffy chariot and even a tonga. It's a spiffy chariot. He was so absorbed in thought of Krishna, he didn't even know where he was all day. Early morning until evening, all day until night, he was absorbed. Close quote. Your response, Rampa Swami. Painting the picture of the difference between a consideration of consequences possibly covered by Kura's performing service wanted by Krishna and contemplation on seeing Krishna highlights the deeply personal insight of Akura's absorption in getting to see Krishna's lotus feet. The understanding at that moment on my part was that the devotional reality of continuously aligning my mental, emotional reality in service to Lord Krishna. Your servant, Krishna.
Looks like people like the question and answer sessions.
Next, we have Atulya Mataji, followed by Radha. Her offering is not in the book.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and your divine grace. Guru Maharaj, I seek your blessings to understand and express your glories in my limited capacity. While reading Srimad Bhagavatam, I very much resonated with verse 10, 20, 20. This verse is in the context of arrival of the rainy season and autumn after the scorching, dry summer season. The translation of this verse is, the peacocks became festive and cried out a joyful greeting when they saw the clouds arrive, just as people distressed in household life feel pleasure when the pure devotees of the infallible Supreme Lord visit them. There have been so many distressful situations last year for everyone, and your visit to our home and different homes in Boston was very soothing. It gave us a treasure of observing a living example of all the wonderful qualities you were speaking about in your lectures. We probably were most under-resourced than at other places where you spend extended time this year. Everything for home visits, every evening for home visits, not only you agreed to reach the venue 30-45 minutes earlier so that we have some time for setting up the audiovisual equipment, but you also carried heavy things from the car to the home. Just before your lecture would be streamed online, you would be sitting on the floor to disentangle the microphone wires, helping in interconnecting so many gadgets, and then patiently waiting to have the entire setup complete to start your lecture. Looking at your streamed lecture, it would be very hard to know that you sacrificed a lot of your time and energy for the setup. You would then deliver a lecture with very high philosophy behind Damodar pastime and bring it to our level, answer so many questions from the devotees. And after the lecture, you again would leave everything else to help pack up and load the car. It was very wonderful to observe you interact with many diverse people with so much ease and comfort at every home, whether it was at the house with the grandest altar or a devotee who was temporarily sharing a tiny house with someone else, whether you were interacting with someone who just lost their job or interact with people of all different ages, children, youth, students, elder devotees, or whether you met someone for the first time or whether someone was your aspiring disciple. Your divine grace touched everyone's heart with your interactions and concern for them. It was such personal attention all those devotees received from you. One devotee shared with me that the opportunity to meet Maharaj so personally was the best gift of her life. On the days of Diwali and Govardhan Puja, you gave 4 lectures each of those days, and many were back to back late in night. And even if the lectures were the same, you began each lecture with a smile and had the same ever fresh enthusiasm as in the previous one. I was also inspired by how you performed virtual installation of Srimad Bhagavatam, gave remote classes for China devotees, remote initiations, virtual tour of Govardhan, etc. The distance and COVID pandemic posed no limitation to the spiritual sound vibration that you wanted to give us. Instead, it felt that circumstances increased your outreach to us and our daily connection with your divine grace. Apart from your austerity of arduous car drives from Midwest to East Coast and back, Maharaj, we could observe you up close, undergoing so many austerities on a regular basis. Every evening, long drives to all the houses, late sleep, early morning waking up, all technical hiccups during many programs, spending most of your 20 days inside one small room, focus on your services and sadhana, tolerating our family dynamics and all the noise, preparing for lectures from multiple commentaries from our acharyas and synthesizing it for us, answering all our speculative questions and realigning us to what is most important for us and is in front of us. When our family continued to ask you questions about Nitya Siddha devotees, you politely said, I do not want to speak on this topic any further. Sorry, Guru Maharaj, we took liberty under your shelter to stretch our mind to understand all these transcendental devotees and their interactions with Krishna. Guru Maharaj, you gloriously gave us the association of Krishna, both in person and remotely this year, with an uncompromising message. No matter what varieties of questions I asked you, the answer had very clear and strong emphasis on cultivating an internal motivation to please Krishna in every situation. And it was even more emphasized by your personal example that we are very fortunate to witness up close for so many days. As I turned the calendar, I thought that the year 2020 was marked with many distressful events in this material world, which is already a dukhalayam, and felt like dry summer season. But like many other devotees, for us it was marked with soothing rainfall of your spiritual sound vibrations twice a day. I'm very grateful for your kind association and apologize for many shortcomings we had in serving you, and pray that you consider visiting here again for an extended stay. Your grateful servant, Atulya Devi Dasi.
Next, we have Radha. Her offering is also not.
All right. With a big smile.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This word has a lot of memories associated with it. It reminds me of you when I hear it or mistakenly say it. Right on the first morning of your Boston visit, you made fun of me when I was saying frequently while I was asking questions, and helped me overcome this long-standing bad habit to a great extent. Now I learned to take a deep breath whenever I feel like saying I was grateful to you for taking an arduous car ride to come to Boston, all the way from Washington, D.C. COVID-19 felt like a blessing for me, as you were able to spend much longer time than usual in Boston. That too, your visit marked the beginning of the most auspicious Kartik month. There were more than 40 lectures you gave during your stay in Boston, mostly on Damodar Leela. It filled my heart and mind with Damodar Leela and awakened my inquisitiveness to a great extent. I never knew the pastimes of Krishna could be so philosophical. I always thought they were only meant to be filled with fun. Thank you for encouraging me to ask questions, patiently answering all my questions, however paltry they may be. I candidly express my inability to observe the Ekadashi fasting because of my picky eating habits. You joked about it so much that I couldn't stop laughing. By your mercy and encouragement, I am now wholeheartedly observing the Ekadashi fasting.
Yay.
You kindly emphasize eating sweets in moderation, which I'm still struggling to follow. By your stressing the importance of studies in this stage of my life, and by your mercy, I started liking my studies. On this most auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja, I beg for your blessings and mercy so that I can become steady in my chanting and give up some unwanted habits. Thank you so much for doing everything you did for me. I'm really grateful for everything. Please forgive my mistakes. Your aspiring servant, Mother.
Hare Krishna. And no ums at all in the whole procedure. Nice. Hare Krishna.
Next, we have Nityananda Pran Prabhu on page 44, followed by Stera Mataji.
Go ahead.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swamin iti namine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Our dear Guru Maharaja, Hare Krishna, please accept our humble obeisances at your most merciful lotus feet. All glories to your divine grace and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada in Bhakti, the Art of Eternal Love, writes, quote, the definition of a pure devotee, as given by Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, can be summarized thus. His service is favorable and is always in relation to Krishna, end quote. The operative word here is favorable or anukulyena. We are convinced that you fit this definition completely. And we have had over 20 years of being in close association with your divine grace to fully examine and now appreciate this feature of your character. Other yardsticks of so-called purity that are often misapplied by mundane seekers are irrelevant in light of our founder Acharya's words quoted above. We are approaching the completion of our 5th decade in these bodies. A stark realization is that we are still awaiting the seed of bhakti to fructify. We wonder when we might have a taste for the holy name, eagerness to hear katha about the divine couple and their associates, and a yearning for serving them and other living beings. The spark of hope remains alive. At the same time, we are awed at the fact that you've been executing bhakti for over these 5 decades. You have chanted Hare Krishna every day for a period longer than we've been in these bodies. And that is only considering time as one factor. Obviously, adding quality as another factor expands the whole context beyond our comprehension. Our appreciation of your uncompromising commitment to purity is expressed in the following verse spoken by Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Kalena snana sauchabhyam Samskarais tapasejjaya shuddhyanti danai santushtya dravyani atmatma vidyaya. Quote, O king, by the passing of time, land and other material possessions are purified. By bathing, the body is purified. And by being cleansed, unclean things are purified. By purificatory ceremonies, birth is purified. By austerity, the senses are purified. And by worship and charity offered to the Brahmanas, material possessions are purified. By satisfaction, the mind is purified. And by self-realization or Krishna consciousness, the soul is purified. Srimad Bhagavatam 10, chapter 5, verse 4. There are two categories of items in this verse. Dravyani, any consideration of mind, and Atma, any consideration of I. While I and mind considerations are the primary contaminants of any and all living beings in this material world, we understand from the great sages and spiritual masters that purifying oneself from these contaminants is the ultimate purpose of human life, as confirmed by Srila Prabhupada. Quote, the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. From Bhagavad Gita 241 purport. Your divine grace's journey of purification, Shuddhyanti, of different things, Dravyani, when examined, gives us great inspiration and leaves us in awe of how meticulous and conscientious a devotee you are. We offer our meager realizations of these items for your pleasure and our aspiration for deeper insights into your character. First one, Kalena. Some things just need time to get back to normalcy, especially when recovering from ill health. We noticed how you take care of your health in general and specifically when your knee needed attention. You gave it the time to recover while you took necessary medication and exercise. Second, Snana Shauchabhyam. You keep yourself clean inside and outside. You bathe 3 times a day, regardless of weather, and recite your Gayatri mantras religiously. You sanctify your body with marks of tilaka, adorn saffron robes that represent austerity, and eat only Krishna prasada. Third, samskare. You were born in a very loving and caring family that was God conscious. Your samskaras are from a pious family, and then from being under Srila Prabhupada's care right from your early adulthood. These samskaras are evident in your refined and controlled speech. Tapasejjaya. You have strictly followed all regulative principles all these years. Sacrificed your youth and middle age in worship of Srila Prabhupada's books as your deities, both in prolific study and distribution of them. 5. Danehi. You're very charitable. You tirelessly donate your time and wisdom in the form of daily morning and evening classes, seminars, japa retreats, yatras, college talks, etc. to hundreds of devotees and seekers. 6. Santushtya. You're easily satisfied with a simple life of service. You exemplify simple living and high thinking. This shows us your mind is peaceful, pure, and focused. 7. Atma Vidyaya. You've always spoken and acted as a servant of Srila Prabhupada and Radha Krishna. This is the pinnacle of any knowledge that one can achieve, per Krishna's indication in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15. Vedeshta sarver, ahameva vedyo, vedanta krid, veda videva chaham. Pure devotees are rare. Meeting a pure devotee is even more rare. Somehow, by your causeless grace, we have had the rarest of rare opportunities of not only meeting, but being so closely guided by one such pure devotee of Sri Krishna. As we enter our third quarter, as you put it, We aspire that we capitalize on this inconceivable gift of your association and become purified in a similar way as you have exemplified. We beg for your merciful glance upon us, your servants, Nityananda Prandas and Hemangi Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna.
Next, we have Stira Mataji, followed by Giri Varadaridas and Shriya Devida.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Dear and respected Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine grace. I have been thinking about this word eternal, and this year it unfolded for me and gave me a different vision to see the world. As a child, I would wait whole year to celebrate my birthday, as I would get gifts. I would get a new dress to wear in the day and a different one in the night. Also, there were different days like wedding anniversaries that as a family we celebrated with great pomp, ate lavishly, cut cake, took pictures. For me, life was just waiting for those days since they were the days meant to bring happiness. I lived several decades of my life nourishing, valuing, holding those moments and days as very dear to my heart. Today, when I look back at those days, we no longer celebrate those days as a family. The wedding anniversaries that were celebrated, either of the couples left this world or some got divorced and others on the verge of it. Instead of celebrating birthdays, the family moved to observing death anniversaries of those individuals. Although I have been hearing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness and trying to practice for a while now, observing this in my own life was very stark for me. At that point, I revisited the word eternal, that which does not have a beginning and an end. I look at my life today and tried to take a stock of it. I saw among the several fleeting things in my life, my job, my residence, my acquaintances, food that I choose to eat, and so forth, you have given me the most precious gem to cherish, adore, accept, and share Krishna consciousness. As I analyze, explore, try to go a little deeper in every aspect of Krishna consciousness, I see each aspect to be eternal in my own life and in the life of others. We hear the topics of Krishna, the topics themselves are eternal, giving all happiness and bliss to the heart of the hearer. At the same time, I see that you are narrating them consistently every day, several times a day, feels like an eternal event. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, knowing that this is the eternal occupation of the soul. You have been emphasizing it time and again, eternally. Serving the devotees is very pleasing to Krishna, and you are recommending to make this an eternal event for all of us. Doing our daily duties, which are constantly changing, you recommend that the consciousness is fixed on the eternal. Serving the deities has been an eternal event, and you are kindly making arrangements to engage us in deity worship, not today, not only in this lifetime, but eternally. You're making plans to take us on yatras every year with great hope, determination, and confidence on Krishna to deliver us to his eternal abode. You don't leave any opportunity to attract us, enthuse us, and inspire us to keep moving forward and doing our best to be in the mood of service. Today, enjoyment seems like eternal to me. I beg at your lotus feet to infuse my heart with mood of service eternally to the wonderful Vaishnavas who are guiding me lovingly on the path of Krishna consciousness. Your aspiring servant, Stira Devi Dasi.
Well done, eternal.
Next, we have Girivara Daridas and Shreya Devidasi, followed by Rajneesh and Shivani.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. We express our humble gratitude for sheltering us at your lotus feet. You blessed us with your initiation this year, and we are one of the fortunate souls who were pulled out from rumble of material existence on it. Thank you for that. Every day you have blessed us with your transcendental Vani to help us to get associated with Lord Krishna and his pastimes. There are few instances I would like to mention about. Your Dandakaranya Yatra, we were very enlightened to hear all the detailed pastimes of Lord Rama in Dandakaranya. We heard Ramayana many times, but hearing these stories from you and your devotees were very heart-touching. All the stories of Rama's pastimes have helped us to get associated with such elevated devotees and inspired us to move forward in our spiritual journey. We are particularly moved by Jatayu's devotion and Hanuman's service to Lord Rama. The festival of Holy Name, this year, it was a different experience. And even in pandemic, you and your team has made the sweetness of Holy Name flow into our heart to the devotees. Every day, our chanting will have a backdrop of Gopakumar's following his Guru's instructions. We are not capable nor eligible as Gopakumar, but association with this story brings joy and motivation to move forward. In your daily Bhagavatam classes, we are very inspired to hear Akrura's arrival in Vrindavana's pastime. Your story took us into Vrindavan with sound energy helping us to get transcendental association of Akrura. We are not qualified to see these pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan, but your pure Vani helped us to connect our material senses to transcendental energy. While answering questions, we loved your interpretation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Goloka train, going to the Goloka Vrindavan. With practicing Krishna consciousness, we can be onboarded in that train. Every day morning, your lectures of Bhagavatam have revealed true principles of life and prepared our day with confidence. As the day proceeded, we had challenges in interacting with Maya in unidentified forms. Few times stood on principles, failed few times, but at the end, the day relied on Lord to beg his mercy for protection. We don't see the same kind of confidence at close of the day, but hearing your sound energy brings back confidence for in the night and next day. These sound treasures have helped us to reveal our true identity and relationship with the Lord. Your teachings always brought a smile and confidence to face with full confidence of Maya. We really appreciate and grateful for your deep compassion for fallen souls like us, your aspiring servants, Sri Girivaradhari Das and Sriya Devadas. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next, we have Rajneesh and Shivani. Their offering is not in the book, followed by Vrajabhumi Mataji.
When's the cut-up time? Maybe 1:20. We're all ears.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept our humble obeisances. All Gurus to Srila Prabhupada, all Gurus to Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dear Guru Maharaj, we feel very fortunate to have met you in the year 2020. And we would really like to first thank Krishna for being so merciful upon us and having arranged this meeting with an elevated personality as yourself. Guru Maharaj, we had the opportunity to see you many times before as well, whenever you visited the Potomac area. But our meeting with you on the 4th of January 2020 was a transformational one for us as a family. It was our first opportunity to get close and get personal association with you, and we felt privileged and very fortunate to seek your shelter formally in front of Sri Radha Madan Mohan. Guru Maharaj, we must admit that we were very, very nervous prior to this meeting with you. We were not sure how our three young boys would behave in front of you, and we being newbies to Krishna consciousness, we were not sure how exactly we would be approaching you. So we wrote our requisition in a letter to you. It was so amazing to see how you sensed our hearts as soon as you saw us and how wonderfully you made us comfortable through your warm gesture. Your interaction with the kids was filled with so much of warmth and love that we instantaneously felt very, very happy and comfortable in our hearts. We understood the real meaning of Guru, one who compliments his disciples wherever they lack. We want to thank you, Guru Maharaj, for being so accommodating, for blessing us and accepting us with our request. This meeting brought so many positives in our lives, and we were really holding on to the instructions you gave us. You have helped us connect to very sincere and humble devotee parents through whom we could learn how to raise Krishna consciousness kids in a humble way. Since that day, we feel your presence every day in our lives. It is really helping the kids and us as a family, and we feel much closer to Krishna in our hearts with your presence and instructions in our lives. We sincerely hope and pray to Krishna that we get multiple and ample opportunities to serve you in your Krishna consciousness mission. We pray for your good health, and we wish to get more and more of your association in time to come. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. And Shivani, Kush, Keshav, and Krishiv, all of us, we are paying our humble obeisances to you.
Big smiles too. Hare Krishna.
Next, we have Vrajabhumi Mataji, followed by Udayananda Prabhu and Sucharita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances to your divine lotus feet and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is a fortunate moment that I am able to read my offering to you. You have been blessing my family for last 19 years. We are one of the fortunate ones who got your personal association, which for many devotees is not easily available. I sometimes really wonder how you personally take care of each one of us and how you encourage us to progress on our devotional life with lot of patience. when I see my level of understanding about scriptures and also the capacity to do any service, we are nowhere. But you have always encouraged us to move on from wherever we are. I still remember one specific incident when I had invited you to talk to my Sunday school kids, and there were only 4 kids in that class. And you very patiently talked to them, and after the class, you made me feel so big, as if how high level service I was doing. Long back, under the guidance of Premananda Mataji, Dwarka project manifested. And I am still, whenever I think how you remember each and everything that we are doing. And I still hear you many times mentioning about that project.
I remember it very well. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it is your great blessing on me. And there have been never a time whenever I organize something for the youth, you refused you refused to accept my invitation. You have always accepted and honored my request. After getting this huge spiritual family, I came into wonderful association of Premananda Mataji, Krishnila Mataji, Krishna Archana Mataji, Himangi Mataji, and Kusmika Mataji. All of them gave me a lot to move forward in my spiritual life. Premananda Mataji got me into Krishna consciousness. Krishnila Mataji made me realize through constellations that how mercy was flowing from parampara and family system. Krishna Archana Mataji showed me how to systematically and carefully plan the classes. Himangi Mataji highly motivated me to coordinate various activities, various reading groups for children, summer reading program for children. She allowed me to take care of Gita camp for last 2 years and also Gita chanting event for suburbs for last 2 years. She has always encouraged me to drive devotees from suburbs, and she was many times there to personally welcome them, to talk to them, to take care of their services in the temple. I would like to mention one specific incident when there was a youth program here in the suburbs, and I approached many devotees to bake pizza for the youth. Everybody refused, but Himangi Mataji very happily, she baked the pizza. She, on her own, personally, she got up early in the morning, and I am not able to remember exactly what very important event was there. But instead of that, she was very busy. She took care of this service very happily. And in return, I don't think I have ever done anything for any one of these. And Kusmika Mataji, I would mention that she has so many times, I even count on my finger, has invited us on all the festivals at her home. And she had showed me how to take care of the deities at home. It was your encouragement and empowerment that this year Gita camp on Zoom happened. And we were also able to do Gita chanting event on Zoom this time. And there were around 150 participants in this event also.
Wow.
Yes, and most of them were children. While coordinating all these events in last so many years, I came into contact into one organization who is outside the ISKCON, and they are having a camp. This year they did a Zoom summer camp which had 2,000 children.
Wow.
And so I wish and I pray that because of your empowerment, we are able to give this kind of a service. While watching one of the TV shows and a Bollywood movie, I realized how they are promoting eating non-veg, drinking, and smoking. And these mediums are very strong. Unless and until we do not create enough engagements for youth, children, and adults, it is impossible to fight these powerful media agencies. And
Yes.
also, yes.
Go ahead. I'm agreeing with you 100%.
And also, I have observed that congregation and community is very much willing to give their services for this cause of children and youth, very enthusiastically and unconditionally. And I also observe that youth, they are really willing to give back. But it's our responsibility to create engagements for them, and we are lacking in that. That's what I'm realizing more and more. And I'm sure because of your mercy, we will be able to do that. And this is my best. Vyas, this is what I can do on this Vyas Puja as an offering to bless me to coordinate more and more such services. Hare Krishna.
May you live a long life.
Thank you.
With your enthusiasm, many persons' lives will be touched, I'm sure.
Thank you, Maharaj.
One more.
Next, we'll have Udayananda Prabhu and Sucharita Mataji. Page 142.
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रामपाद स्वामिनिति नामिने मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयितं गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणीम्। Our dear most respectful spiritual master and eternal father, please accept our most humble and respectful obeisances in the dust of your most merciful lotus feet. All glories to you and Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, will be eternally thankful for your mercy that transformed us. We want to thank Srila Prabhupada for you. Interacting with anyone who knows you, Guru Maharaj, also leaves us with so many wonderful memories. They never seem to stop speaking about your glories. And what to speak of time, we have had the great fortune to meeting, talking to you, and getting darshan of our eternal loving Father. Guru Maharaj, during last Vrindavan seminar in February 2020, you have so mercifully welcomed Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadrama to give us an opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord in his deity form. We will be eternally thankful to you for giving us shelter under your lotus feet. The same deities that you see in the altar right now, Guru Maharaj.
I can say. Nice all.
Guru Maharaj, we are so touched by the fact that the devotees are so comfortably asking you questions, which goes to show, Guru Maharaj, how much you have made us comfortable to ask. Guru Maharaj, in the darkest of the days, we remember your two words, accept and progress. It helps us immensely to pick up ourselves and strive and endeavor for progress. Guru Maharaj, your words will always be our guiding compass. We seek forgiveness at your lotus feet for all our mistakes, for surely we are the most fallen of all. We are eternally grateful and want to be in your service, Guru Maharaj. Kindly let us be the most insignificant servitors at your lotus feet. Please empower us to serve you and Srila Prabhupada eternally, aspiring to be your eternal servants, Udyananda Dasa and Sucharita Devidasi.
Hare Krishna. That's it, everybody. We're moving on to the next part of the program.
Yes, we will move on now to Arati to Srila Prabhupada, followed by Arati to Guru Maharaj. And Kirtan by Shatirpa Mataji, followed by Kirtan by Rati Prabhu.
Over there, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's fine.
It's hard. Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando mui savadana mate mui savadana mate Bando mui savadana mate जहरा प्रसादे भाई हे भवतोरिया जाय जहरा प्रसादे भाई हे भवतोरिया जाय कृष्ण प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होते कृष्ण प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होते गुरुमुखा पद्मा वाक्या चित्ते ते कोरिया क्या आरना कोरी हो मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐशे उत्तम गति चरणे रति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐशे
जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ हटे अविद्या विनाश जाते भक्ति वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनारा बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो पाद छाया हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो पाद छाया हे बेजाश शुक्र भुवाना शील प्रभुपाद पतित पावना जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय जय
Jayo Vishnupad Paramahansa Parividagacharya Astatara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitya Leela Vishnu Om Paramahansa Parividagacharya Astatara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Next, we'll have Aarti to Guru Maharaj. Kirtan by
ವರಧಾವ ನನ ನೀಡಲೋಕ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣ ಗಣಾತ್ವಂ ಸಂಸಾರದಾವ ನಲಲೀಡಲೋಕ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣ ಗಣಾತ್ವಂ प्राप्तस्य कल्याणं पुनर्नभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभो की तन नृत्य गीता वादिक्रमादान मनसोर सेना महाप्रभो की तन नृत्य गीता वादिक्रमादान मनसोर सेना रोमांचकंपा श्रुतरंग भाजो वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंदम रोमांचकंपा श्रुतरंग भाजो वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंदम श्री विग्रहाराधन नित्य नाना श्रृंगार तन्मन्दिरमजनादो युक्तस्य भक्तांश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत् प्रसादो स्वाद्वन्न तृप्तान् हरिभक्त संगा कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् विकुञ्जयो नो रतिके सिद्धये ययालिभिर्युक्ते रपेक्षणीया तत्रतिधाक्षा अतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् साक्षादरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सति किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्तु वंशस्य यस्य श्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya श्री रोमपाद स्वामी महाराज की जय। श्री रोमपाद स्वामी व्यास पूजा महोत्सव की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू गुरु महाराज।
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य आष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमान His Divine Grace Shri Ramapad Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Astatara Satasi Simad His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Kishore Kishori ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Thank you all so much for joining us for our Vyasa Puja celebration today. I was just thinking about what I said in the beginning of how normally we feel like the temple room is filled and surcharged with this feeling of love and gratitude. And I feel like this time it was like that, except it was beyond the temple room and it was just covering from each of our locations all over the world. We created a bubble of love and gratitude. So thank you, all of you, for joining from wherever you are. And I hope you were able to feel the same, at least in some form, that, you know, we're all together. So thank you again for joining us. And a huge shout out to our technical team, who I'm sure had to have a different experience because of the chaos of technology. So, and also a big shout out to the hidden Kaumadi who's sitting behind and orchestrating everything. It's also her birthday today. And she was making sure all the devotees were in line for Vyasa Puja to say their offering. So I just really wanted to shout out to her as well for Maharaj's blessings. And so I just wanted to also take this opportunity to announce that there's an opportunity to be part of the Vyasa Puja book team. And there's several openings. And I think if you find that you're skilled in editing or Photoshop, and don't be humble because, you know, you can use it. So please contact Sthira Mataji. She's eagerly ready to help anyone who is interested in serving Guru Maharaj in that way. It's a beautiful way to express gratitude. It's a wonderful meditation because you get to fill your time with remembering how Maharaj has saved our lives. And so if you are interested, please contact myself, anyone on the teams, Nityapriya, Kaumadi, or Sthira Mataji will be able to. Yes, and Photoshop. Editing, proofreading, and Photoshop. And I can share more details, like what the time commitment looks like, etc. I thought I would save that if devotees were contacting. Yes, she said there's 5 spaces for editing, 2 spaces for review, and 1 for Photoshop. So please reach out. Lastly, I'll just announce the schedule. Today at 4 p.m., we'll have an Ishtagoshti amongst disciples, followed by an evening class at 6:30 p.m. So it's being shown by Kaumadi again. 4 p.m. Ishtagoshti and then 6:30 evening class. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.